Hey everyone, so we've all heard the simple rule for managing weight, right? It's all just calories in, calories out. But what if I told you that's only page one of a much, much more interesting book? Today, we're going to peel back the layers on that simple math and get into the really cool hidden science of how our bodies actually work.
Okay, so at its most basic level, it really does start with this idea of energy balance. It's the foundational principle. It's simply the relationship between the energy you get from food and drink and the energy your body burns doing everything from just breathing to, running a marathon.
And that brings us to the classic formula that we've all had drilled into our heads. If you want to lose weight, you have to burn more calories than you eat. Simple. And look, that is fundamentally true. But this is where the simple story ends and a far more fascinating one really begins.
Because as it turns out, the type of calories you're eating can have a huge impact on how many calories you end up consuming, often without you even realizing it. And this leads us to what scientists call the ultra-processed food effect.
So this is the big question, isn't it? Is it really just about willpower? Or could it be that some of the foods we eat are basically engineered in a way that hijacks our body's natural hunger and fullness signals? Well, a really groundbreaking study from the National Institutes of Health set out to find the answer.
And what they discovered was, frankly, stunning. 500. On average, when people were on a diet of ultra-processed foods, they ate an extra 500 calories a day. Just let that sink in for a second. 500 calories. That's like eating a whole extra meal without even consciously deciding to.
And what made this study so incredibly powerful was its design. This wasn't just some survey. This was the first ever randomized, controlled trial that could actually prove cause and effect. They took 20 healthy volunteers and had them live in a lab for a whole month. For 2 weeks, they ate nothing but ultra-processed foods. Then, for the other 2 weeks, they ate an unprocessed diet. And here's the kicker. The diets were perfectly matched for things like calories, sugar, and fat, and people could eat as much or as little as they wanted.
So what does that actually look like on a plate? Well, an unprocessed breakfast might be something like oatmeal with fresh bananas and walnuts. Its ultra-processed twin? A bagel with cream cheese and some turkey bacon. See, on paper, the nutrients look the same, but the food itself, totally different. And the results were just undeniable. While on the ultra-processed diet, people didn't just eat more, they ate faster and ended up gaining about 2 pounds in just those 2 weeks. Then, when they switched to the unprocessed diet, they naturally ate less and lost that same amount of weight. It's just this brilliant illustration that the source of the food, not just the numbers on the label, is what really drives how much we eat.
And here's where you get the human side of all that data. One of the volunteers, a guy named Justin Butner, said that the ultra-processed foods were so dense with calories that by the time his body realized it was full, he'd already eaten way too much. His words were, "It wasn't satisfying." And that just perfectly captures this disconnect between the calories we eat and the feeling of being full.
Okay, so the kind of food we eat literally changes how much we eat. But why? Well, the answer might not be on our plate, but deep inside of us. It's time to take a look at our body's hidden engine, the gut microbiome.
So living inside your digestive system are trillions, with a T, of tiny microorganisms. And this isn't just some random collection of germs. No, it's an incredibly complex living ecosystem that pretty much acts like a command center for your metabolism, and it has a huge say in your body's energy systems. We call this ecosystem the gut microbiome. And while it's incredibly diverse, it's mostly dominated by 2 big families of bacteria, Firmicutes and Bacteroides. And it turns out that the balance between these key players is a huge factor in our overall metabolic health.
So how does this hidden engine actually work? Well, it does a few really critical things. First, some of these microbes are absolute masters at wringing every last calorie out of your food. Second, as they digest fiber, they release these special compounds that send signals to your brain saying, "Hey, we're full," which helps you feel satisfied. And third, if the wrong kinds of bacteria start to take over, they can cause this low-grade inflammation that can throw your entire metabolic system out of whack. And if you need proof of just how powerful these little guys are, check this out. In these landmark studies, scientists took mice that were raised in a totally sterile environment, no gut bacteria at all. When they introduced a normal gut microbiome into these mice, the mice had a 60% increase in body fat. And get this, they didn't even eat any more food. The takeaway is just undeniable. The microbes in your gut can directly control how much fat your body stores, totally separate from the calories you eat.
So we know that ultra-processed foods can make us overeat without trying, and we know our gut bacteria are these major players in our metabolism. So the next logical question is, how do we eat in a way that actually works with our biology instead of against it? This is all about choosing your strategy.
So let's compare two really popular approaches, the keto diet and the Mediterranean diet. Keto is all about high-fat, super low-carb, which forces your body to burn fat for fuel. The Mediterranean diet, on the other hand, is much more plant-based, full of whole grains and healthy fats. Both can definitely help with weight loss, but they get you there through very different paths.
Now, while both can work, a lot of experts tend to favor the Mediterranean approach. And why is that? Well, it usually comes down to one word: sustainability. As dietitian Lisa Moskovitz puts it, its flexibility means that no food is off-limits. And that makes it a plan people can actually stick with for life, which, let's be honest, is usually the hardest part. And this all leads us to our final and, honestly, probably the most important point of all. Instead of just blindly following a set of generic rules, the real power comes when you become the lead scientist of your own health journey.
So think of it like this: a precision ledger. This kind of tool isn't just about the simple math of calories in and calories out. No, it's about connecting those numbers to your actual real-life experience. It's about capturing the why behind the what.
And this notes column? This is where the magic happens. Here, you're not just plugging in numbers. You're an observer, a scientist. You can track how different foods actually make you feel, how full you are, connecting right back to that NIH study. You can jot down your energy levels and maybe even start to see the effects of a healthier gut microbiome in action.
Ultimately, what all this science shows us is that weight management is a deeply personal equation. It's not just about what you eat, but how that food makes you feel and how it interacts with all of these incredible hidden systems inside your body. So the real question to leave you with is this: what amazing secrets could your own data unlock for you?